And we're back, and we just finished watching 2010's Birdemic, Shock and Terror, a film that left me quite speechless
and sleepy.
The story is about a young man named Rod who happens upon a lady that he had gone to high school with, Natalie, and they start a romance in the midst of what seems like the apocalypse, but I think the scientists explained that it was because of global warming and pollution and whatnot.
There was a very heavy-handed global warming message to this movie.
They're like putting sad music in the background too.
Apparently, the from what I read, the director was inspired by The Birds and An Inconvenient Truth, and that inspired him to make this movie.
Both really good films, and yet this doesn't even approach that. So this is by director, writer.
This was terrible.
This was
absolutely terrible. The birds look so fake on screen. Even the ones that were like perfectly fine with them.
Yeah.
Like when they were going on their date.
I think that was the appeal of the movie.
You just saw them and you knew it was fake. Even the explosions, like at the gas station, there's like an explosion and like
these birds were
so fake. There wasn't a dent in the car. And
also, the acting was horrible.
Are the birds holding little grenades?
I don't know.
I think they only exploded when they hit like gas station stuff. No?
Well, in the beginning, they were just sort of like careening into houses and houses were exploding. So it seemed like in the beginning, birds were exploding. But the birds were
the birds had to have explosives.
And the birds were the bird effects. They were like one step above clip art that you would find in like Microsoft Word.
Yes.
They were terrible. And and they were like, there was no interaction. There was never a scene where like the lead actor had to wrestle with like even just like a stuffed animal. That would have added a little bit to this film, you know, if there was at least
But what about the scene when Rod and Natalie leave, I guess, the hotel after their night of amour with that other couple, and they're...
And for some reason, the other couple has machine guns
in their van.
This dude
in their van.
He had more than
machine guns.
I mean, he had a bunch
guns. Oh my god!
Yeah,
there is more than one gun.
All right. We get it, Olivia.
Are they? I'm trying to assassinate someone.
I'm so speechless from this movie. I mean, I think we've seen a lot of movies that are so bad that they're good, and then we've seen a lot of bad movies.
This was just straight bad. This was not so bad it's good. There was nothing redeeming about this movie
at all.
And from the opening credits, which once again looked like they just came right out of Microsoft Word, to the music, which was all like license-free stuff that you'd get. You buy like a CD-ROM that has like 100 songs that you could use for free. To the terrible acting, to the fact that like nobody, like any sets, they were like the film work. Clearly it was completely filmed, I guess, on somebody's phone, and I don't even think it was like a good phone either.
No, this is from 2010, so this is like 10 years ago. This movie.
I mean,
and actually, if you think about it, it took them a while. So this was probably filmed in 2008, maybe 2009.
Like
but even then, I mean, I'm pretty sure there were like
better tech,
better phones that like at least autofocus. There were so many scenes where people were just blurry.
Yeah.
No, there was.
Yeah, and also the sound was getting cut off.
Yes. As far as
oh my god! In the beginning, like when he's at the diner and like the waitress is like. It's like her mouth moves, and then after the pause, it's like, "Hi."
There was no sound editing at all. It was just whatever this camera is picking up. That's the sound we're going with.
Yeah.
There was never a guy with a boom mic off. Yeah, you know what? The only reason why you didn't see a boom mic entering every single shot in this movie is because there was no boom mic. It was just all filmed with camera phones or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. No focusing. Everything was blurry. When they would move the camera, it was like all jerky because either it was being handheld or whoever was controlling the tripod had to probably like lift it up and turn it himself.
and I.
But let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. We sound like we're having a good time talking about this movie.
It was painful.
No, we're making fun of like the ridiculousness of it. To get to those ridiculous scenes, you have to sit through a lot of just nothing. I joked in the beginning of this film that they shouldn't have called it Birdemic. They should have called it Drive-demic because there was at least there was at least a solid half hour of just this dude sitting in a car
like that
driving.
Dancing scene. They actually use a green screen.
Oh
yes.
my goodness.
Oh my god.
Like when they go to the hip happening nightclub.
That was
or when
so
they go
terrible.
to that, I guess, like, was it a diner? They were the only two, and then there was the guy singing.
There was the singer.
I was like, what am I watching?
There's just
Like,
two people in an abandoned like
And we were
diner.
roadside
Not even
cafe.
a rest. I wouldn't even say it was a diner.
No, I think it was like a rest stop cafe.
Yeah, that's another thing. This guy, he's pulling down $1 million deals. He's like, yeah, I just sold $1 million worth of whatever I sell.
And I started my own solar panel company.
And
financed for $10 million.
$10 million. And he's bringing, now I'm going out with my supermodel girlfriend. She just got a gig with Victoria's Secret, and we're gonna go celebrate. And the restaurant is like the type of place where there's like the napkin dispenser on the table with like ketchup and mustard, and it was a Vietnamese
IHOP is better.
with condiments on the table.
Is more classy looking than this place. IHOP in North Bergen is more classy looking than this
terrible.
place.
This guy's rich, and in the beginning he's driving around in this nice Mustang, and I'm guessing that's where the budget for this movie went because like. It was just like we got to rent this Mustang and we got to use it as much as possible in the 3 days we got it, and then suddenly it was just like, I lost the keys. Can we hop in your van? And this is like the crappiest van on earth. It's like the burn stains on it.
And I really wanted to see the finale because I feel like I had invested and I just couldn't keep my eyes open.
But that's the thing. You did fall asleep. But you basically did see the finale because nothing happened. They went to the beach.
Feel bad,
That's another thing. There's like, oh God, the eagles are attacking. Yet these people are just going outside. Oh, okay, we got to get to food. Oh, well, I'm gonna go fishing.
How can you go fishing?
Like, and they think the car is not safe, so they go to a picnic table.
Yeah, they go have lunch at a picnic table after basically raiding a convenience store, a road stop deli, and getting all the food they can. The clerk is dead. Somehow the birds got into his deli and pecked his eyes out.
They just ripped his eyeballs out.
That was the fakest thing I've ever seen.
And also, like, when they were at the motel, like, you could see, like, when they were, like, trying to barricade the window while she was in her underwear, you kind of, like, saw her butt.
You didn't you saw both of her butt cheeks.
Yes.
She saw some butt cheeks and some very dirty feet.
Yes! Oh my god!
Her feet were black!
Why did you bring that
When they were baby cows, her feet were black!
That was... What was that? What was that?
That's just bad continuity.
No, it's not even... That's
they were setting the atmosphere for romance. That's what they were doing. Just dirty, black-souled feet.
What?
Yeah.
And the cuts, that was so bad. Like when she's talking to her mom, and then she's like, "Good job," and then like
there's just like, "Good job," and then they just for some reason
like that awkward.
There's this awkward 3-second pause before the guy's like, "Oh, cut, okay, cut the scene."
So I mean, we can talk about how bad it is, but I feel like we shouldn't.
Maybe all those awkward pauses were because not only did he film it on his iPhone, maybe he cut it on the iPhone too. So he was just sort of like pausing and like, all right, next scene.
So I'm assuming that this had a cult following of some kind because there's a Birdemic 2 and 3, which I wouldn't put anyone through.
Well, I remember when it came out, it like made the news because it was so terrible, and
I'm assuming Sci-Fi financed the second and third parts of that because I don't even know.
Maybe I don't know. Apparently, from what I read,
part is like the resurrection of them.
It's like Birdemic 2, the resurrection.
Well, don't get excited, kids, because we're so.
Oh God, no! I never want to watch anything Birdemic
ever again. That Rod guy would die.
No, it wasn't a theory. I was hoping that he would die. That guy was the worst actor in the whole.
Yeah, but then they resurrected him.
He was. There's a scene where Natalie introduces Rod to her mom. And they're like, oh, well, that's another thing. There are so many scenes where everybody's just getting to know each other with the most idiotic questions. It's like driving and then job interview, driving, job interview, driving. And so he meets the mom, and the mother's like, "What you do?" And he tells her, "Oh yeah, I'm a big successful salesman." And she's like, "Well, you seem to really like your being a salesman." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm passionate about sales." Like with all the passion of a tub of vanilla ice cream.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God, this movie was something.
What? I love vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, but it has no feelings.
Yeah. So I feel like we should just rate this and be done with it. I absolutely would not recommend this to anyone.
No, it's not. I mean, there's plenty of. There's
so horrible.
Yeah,
unless you're some kind of silly stoner that wants to.
No, I don't even think stoners would like this. There's bad movies that are great, okay, and then there's just this. This is terrible. This isn't like you know what? Like when you go take a driver's education course and you see the terrible movie they show you about people getting in car accidents. That's like Citizen Kane compared to this.
Wow. This
is so dull. I mean, 20 minutes in was when you first see a terrible CG bird, and those ones aren't even attacking people. Yeah. I don't even know how far into the film it took before the birds actually attacked people. You had to get through this whole, we're getting to know each other. We're going on a double date.
And they had their windows open. Like, we're just waiting for these birds to come and attack us.
Yeah, and also she was going to her friend's job or website, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, for some reason they really seem to be trying to promote this ImaginePeace.com website, which apparently is some sort of Yoko Ono run thing. I don't even think they're really affiliated with it.
When she saw that her friend was dead, she was still wearing that shirt.
She was still wearing
and not a speck of blood got on that white shirt.
Pristine white shirt. Her face was torn open by some mysterious creature, the birds. Somehow they got inside the car and did that.
And I have to say, it was pretty disingenuous
of the director. The windows were open, Dad.
To put Tippi Hedren as a cast member in this thing because
she was on a television screen in the back of that lovely motel that they spent their night of passion in.
With dirty floors, apparently.
With dirty floors. This millionaire brings his supermodel girlfriend to this filthy road stop motel.
So I'm gonna go off on a tangent, and I'm in a film discussion class or a group class. Listen to me. I'm in a film discussion group, and one of the members mentioned this movie called Fateful Findings, which was pretty terrible. I saw it earlier this week, and it was pretty awful. But I would say it doesn't hold a candle to Birdemic, Shock and Terror. This was...
As far as being terrible.
As far as being terrible.
I'm going to give it a 0.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Flat out 0.
I mean, I feel like as a lover of films, I can't give a movie, like you can't give a 10, I can't give a 0. I feel like the mother character was good.
The mother was the only...
The girl model tried.
Yeah, the mother and the model were probably the best actors in the whole film.
Better actors in this thing.
The lead was...
Awful.
Oh
my gosh.
Like, why was he the lead? Why wasn't the best friend? Because at least the best friend could emote.
Yes.
The lead actor had no emotions at all. It was
nothing.
Seriously, it was like an ice maker. He just made noises and had no warmth at all.
So I'm gonna say
the main one had like no feelings. He was just a robot.
I'm very passionate about sales.
I'm gonna give
even I can't convey the lack of emotion that he was. Yeah. I'm trying to really deadpan it, and this I can't.
How he said it, and then say it in a more passionate voice.
I'm passionate about sales. That would have been more interesting. That would have.
Yes.
You know what? If he said it like that, if suddenly he sounded like an evil mustache twirling villain suddenly, and that would have at least been like, wow, this is interesting. He's definitely taking the role in an interesting direction, but no, it was just like, I'm passionate about sales. Good.
Oh my god. So
what do you do for a living?
When she was going fishing and she was collecting seaweed, and she said, "Here, children, eat this." They said they wanted a McDonald's Happy Meal.
They never said the word McDonald's.
Yeah, they probably.
They just wanted
I think everybody assumes it's a McDonald's because it's a Happy Meal, but like, people say Kleenex and you already know it's a tissue.
Yeah. This was
jaw-droppingly bad.
It wasn't even a bad good movie. Like I said, there are certain bad good movies out there that you're just like, oh, this is terrible, but I love to watch it.
Yeah.
I thought that Birdemic would be like that, but they didn't even have that rock song that was in the trailer.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be like that.
Yeah, I thought it would be like Sharknado. I mean, that's what they.
Yeah, like something like Sharknado's terrible.
Bear volcano we saw.
Or like Piranha 3 Double D, which is
my god, that is awful.
Ridiculously bad. But you'll laugh and like that. I could see a stoner liking.
Yes.
This would just make stoners fall asleep.
Yeah, it made me fall asleep.
We need to watch Killer Pinata next.
Okay,
we'll see.
We should just do.
I might need like a palate cleanser, a good film in between that and Killer Pinata, which looks awful too.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a 0.9.
I would probably give it a 0.5 because effort was made as far as like organizing people and telling them to stand in certain positions, and also
there's
just sort of like scheming your way into filming, because from what I read, he had like no permits to film in any of the locations that he filmed.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And it really
trouble.
Yeah,
especially in California.
He's gonna get
it really shows, because there is some scenes where like that weird pumpkin market scene. It lasted like 10 minutes. Nothing happened in it but them looking at various stalls and kiosks set up at a pumpkin fair.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that was a real event that happened, and they just said, "Oh, hey, actors, walk through there. I'm going to be holding this camera phone behind you. Just look and make comments. Oh, look, there's a guy with a big cowboy hat carving a giant pumpkin. Yeah. Just stare at it."
No, it was kind of like a scarecrow's hat.
Whatever.
Scarecrow hat you put on. Well, Gracie, what are you gonna rate this?
Oh yeah,
I'll give this a 0.25. Wait, no, 0.2 for trying.
0.2 for trying.
Yeah, this was really bad.
What you gave it a 0, right?
0.1.
Oh, 0.1. All right, you raised it to a 0.1. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's give it some
avoid
credit.
this like the plague, unless you just don't like yourself, I guess.
if you really feel like punishing yourself, watch this movie. Like,
if you've done something naughty and you feel like you need to punish yourself.
If your children done something bad, then make them watch this movie.
Yeah.
To make them feel terrible.
Yeah. This is
This is the kind of thing that you just I don't know.
It's worse than what was that film?
Loss of Sexual Innocence.
Loss of Sexual
Wow, you finally beat that movie. Wow, my husband always said that was the worst movie he'd ever been subjected to watch, but wow.
Okay, so
this is one for the books, I guess. This was bad. I'm trying to rack my brain to see if this is the.
I really wanted to shut it off in the first 10-15 minutes, just because.
I wanted you to skip through some of the parts.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they would have gotten.
Next time we encounter something like this, we should do the speed play.
Yeah. 2x speed.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
We avoid birdemic, shock and terror like the plague.
And
that is it from us.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll come back with another review soon. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
I said night.
You did? Okay. Good night.